Talking with the experts.
Explore authentic leadership with Michelle Vandepas as she shares tips on living a meaningful and successful entrepreneurial life in episode 516.
Your thought about what you really want to say and what your people really want, then it's pretty easy to start outlining the book. You make that your chapter. You think about, well, what are the other things I want to say? How do people get there? What are things I talk about with my friends, my family, my clients all the time? I'm going to add that. You start just going down and allowing yourself to riff and think and meditate on it, and another bullet point will come up. I do marathons where we all write bullet points either on Post-it notes or 3x5 cards for 20 minutes. Go, as many as you can think of, and then you organize those, and that can turn into your chapter. So there's lots of different ways to organize. And I really recommend not doing that until you have cleared your mind of all the...
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts, where we believe that success is a journey, and every journey is easier with help from friends. That's why we bring you top-notch experts and real business heroes eager to share their lessons from the road to success. We delve into new topics each week: effective marketing strategies, innovative problem-solving, financial planning, and team building. We tackle everything you need to know to grow your business and keep it thriving. Whether you dream about launching your first startup or a business veteran looking to shake things up, we've got you covered. With each episode, you'll gain knowledge, boost your confidence, and be inspired to take action. So, grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and join our exciting journey. You're not alone in this. We're here, guiding you, cheering for you, and celebrating each milestone. Let's turn your business dreams into reality, starting today. Here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello, welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is all about business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today it's my very great pleasure to welcome Michelle Vandepas to the program, and we're going to be talking about authentic leadership in business. Now, Michelle has been around for a very long time, and she is an accomplished professional who captivates with her empowering message and unwavering support. As a seasoned author, speaker, and coach, she has a wealth of experience and profound insights into publishing, online marketing, and living with purpose, one of my greatest topics. She lives in the US. She has 40 goldfish. So I'm going to go and visit her and look at her collection. And, she's just a wonderful person. And I'd really love to introduce Michelle to Talking with the Experts. Welcome, Michelle.
It's great to be here. And as we were talking offline, I'm in the US, and so it's yesterday for me.
For you, yes.
Anyway, good to be time traveling with you.
Absolutely. It's lovely to meet you. Michelle, we were talking a little bit about, your journey to getting to where you are now.
Yeah, it's life is full of twists and turns. I never thought that I would own a publishing company, be speaking and coaching, all kinds of people. But when I look back, it all seems to make perfect sense to me, right? As our lives do. I started as a marketing consultant. Well, before that, I had some other businesses, but I've been doing marketing, consulting, and coaching for 25 years since I published my first book at 25 years ago, and have been helping others publish their books since then. And it's all about really understanding your own purpose, whether you have a bigger message to share, and how to get that message out into the world. And I know we want to talk about leadership and authenticity today, and all of that is kind of wrapped up together about being authentically you and showing up 100% as who you are.
Absolutely. And, a lot of us, me included, have a book inside us, which I know is one of your favorite mantras. We all have a book inside us. And don't hide it. However, sometimes the cost of having your book published is a defining factor in whether you move forward with having that book published or not, or even writing that book. How can we navigate that journey?
Yeah. So what a great topic. So a couple of things. Number one, everything's changed since Amazon allowed us all to publish, right? So back when I started, it was vanity press or traditional publishing, and now there's all kinds of options. And so the bar is really low for entry, but that's good and bad. It's really good. I find it really exciting because the power's back with the authors. You're not having to wait for gatekeepers. You're not having to do pleading and begging emails and book proposals and please take my book, right? You can stand in your own knowledge that you have something you want to write and share, and the power is with you. However, since the bar is low, it means there's a lot of real crap out there, right? Unedited, bad book covers, not really well written. So companies like myself offer programs. There's lots of us out there, but where you pay us and we help you publish. But that's not the only way to go. So I want to address a couple of things. Number one, if you're called to write a book, write a book. Don't worry about getting it published. Don't worry about the cost. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Don't worry about all that yet, because the process of writing a book forces you to personally up level, forces you to really gather your thoughts, think about what you want to say, what your message is, how you're going to present that out into the world. So I'm talking nonfiction mostly, right? So we're talking business leaders here today. So nonfiction books. So write the book. If you get stuck, I've got all kinds of tips and free resources to help you get unstuck. But number one is write the book, because if you're called to write the book, write the book. It may end up as an ebook, an audiobook, a printed book, a course, could end up as anything. But if you're called to do it, then write it. The second part of that is if you decide to publish, there's really 3 places you cannot scrimp. So you're either going to learn how to do it yourself, trade or find a friend, or pay someone to do it. And that's where the money comes in, right? Because it can be expensive to outsource it all. You do not ever want to scrimp on really great editing. You want to make sure that the book is professionally edited, or you will get bad reviews and people won't read it. You want to make sure it has a really compelling book cover and people don't have to guess what your book's about. So don't scrimp on those 2 places. And then the third place is if you open the book and it doesn't look good, like the margins and the gutters are off, or it's off center, any of that. And that's a fairly easy piece for a professional to do. And so those are the 3 places I would spend money. So you can either outsource that, trade for it, learn how to do it yourself, or hire someone or use a publishing company like myself, right? Mm-hmm. But don't let all of that stop you from doing the writing. It's a little bit like saying, I've decided to run a marathon and I've never run in my life. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm ever going to get there. So you don't even start running.
Yeah, and I agree. I do agree. I mean, I've got a couple of books. I've got one on a personal journey, and I've got a business book that I would like to write. I've currently got a course, and I'd like to turn that into a book. And
right. And then you can monetize that. So the other piece to finish that question is if you're writing a business book, there's lots of ways to monetize that on the back end, right? So business books tend to get, times many X times their money back, because they're selling courses, they're speaking, they're getting coaching clients, whatever, right? So business books, you set it up so that people are led through a program in the book or led through a thought process, so then they go buy your course.
Yeah, that's what I've been advised. And I think, I should just dig my heels in and just go and do it.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Michelle, I know a lot of business owners, have a book inside them, as we've discussed. And, sometimes they could use their expertise and knowledge to write the book, even if it's a staff manual.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we got to go back to, why do you want to write the book? Are you called to write? Do you just want to start putting your thoughts on paper? You know, when I wrote my first book, I thought, I'm never writing another book. I'm on book number 6 now. Taking me 25 years. For me, I have other people who write a book a year. Fiction writers sometimes write a book a month, right? Everybody's at a different pace. But if you're called to write a staff manual, you can put all your own feelings and thoughts and processes in there. It's a great way to get started. Now, you may not be able to take that if you're working for a company, then they own that manual, but that's okay. You've got experience. My husband worked for a company where he had patents, but he didn't own the patents because he worked for the company, right? So that's kind of standard, but you're still able to say I'm a published author. It's like when you work for a university and they publish you, the university owns your book, but you get to say I've been published through one of the university presses, right? So there's lots of reasons to publish when you get to that point. And credibility, building your foundation, setting yourself as an expert. So even if you just publish a staff manual or something that's really, really niche that only like certain people are going to read, it still sets you up as an expert, and you can go on and speak, you can go do many other things around that foundation.
Yeah, and I, going back to what we opened with, being authentic in your writing too is really important, whether it's a business book or a personal journey book or
Right.
it's important to always be authentic. And we're trying to get our leaders to be more authentic and use their knowledge and don't hide it, share with others, because to me, sharing is caring. And if you you share what other people will share with you their knowledge, because not everyone is at the same level.
Yeah. And I think being authentic in your writing is extremely important, because what gets people stuck in their writing, what some people call writer's block, or I've been working on this manuscript for a month, a year, a decade, whatever it is, I hear it all, is the idea that we can't say what we really want to say. And you have to separate out your writing process from a published book, because what you write today may or may not end up in the book. And so we tend to self-edit. We tend to write what we want to write and then delete it or cross it out or tear it up or whatever and go, oh, I can't say that. Nobody's going to want to read that. And so we're not writing our authentic self because we're an editing brain. And so what I ask is you just write from the heart, write whatever you want to write, because it may or may not end up in the book. You're not at editing stage, you're at writing stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even if you're keeping a journal, a lot of people write something, then they cross it out, and then they write something else. And, they're always in that editing state, and, not being authentic with themselves even, because,
Right.
oh, if that didn't sound right, and I'll cross it out. And whiteout is a great tool that people use quite often.
Yeah, but not at the beginning. At the beginning, you just write. You just allow yourself to be creative and say whatever you want to say.
Absolutely. So what would be some of your hints or tips that you would give to somebody who is wanting to write their first book?
Yeah, so the first thing I say is just write whatever you want to write, whether that takes a day, a week, a month, or a year. Just write until there's nothing left. Because once you clear your brain of all the stuff that's going around up here, then you get to the good stuff. Then you get to the stuff that, ooh, there's a nugget of gold in there. Or you go back and read what you've written and you're like, ooh, that sentence is pretty good. Now I'll go write on that for 20 minutes or an hour. And so the first thing is just write. Don't edit. Don't worry about what it is. Just write. Now, the second piece, after you've done that, then you have to start thinking about, what do I really want to say? What am I willing to put my stake in the ground on and say, I really believe this, and I think my audience, my future reader, my future customers or clients need to hear this. And then you kind of focus the book around that theme. And from there, most of us can outline a book pretty well. I can work with people to outline a book in an hour once we get to that theme. And then you think about your reader and what they want, not what they need, but what they want. What is it they want? Do they just want to be skinny? Do they just want to have enlightenment? Do they just want to have the book done? Or maybe they don't even want the book done. They want to be on stages, but the book is part of the path to get them there, right? So you think about that. And then it all starts coming together. So those are the three things. First, start writing, then think about your message, then think about your reader.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I have thought that, writing, dumping, having the dump first is always a great way of doing stuff, but I'm a self-editor, and then then I start crossing out things, and and then it, to me, it becomes bigger than Ben-Hur.
Right, because you're not editing, you're trying to be creative. You're in two parts of the brain. So for you, I would say give yourself permission to be in totally beginner's mind, to be totally open to whatever wants to be written, to know that it's only for you and you may never even read it again, and just allow yourself to write and see what happens.
So other than in a book, what is a great length for a book? Some people, how many words or chapters?
Yeah, usually for nonfiction books, some are around 50,000 words. But we just published a book that was 85,000, and we have published books that are 25,000. So the good thing about the power of being with the people is you get to choose what is right for your book. You don't have a publisher telling you exactly what it needs to be, but generally maybe 50,000 words is a good kind of a good place to throw your dart.
And do you have chapters or just headings, or what's the best structure?
Yeah, so once you get your thought about what you really want to say and what your people really want, then it's pretty easy to start outlining the book. You make that your chapter. You think about, well, what are the other things I want to say? How do people get there? What are things I talk about with my friends, my family, my clients all the time? I'm going to add that. You start just going down and allowing yourself to riff and think and meditate on it, and another bullet point will come up. I do marathons where we all write bullet points either on Post-it notes or 3x5 cards for 20 minutes. Go, as many as you can think of, and then you organize those, and that can turn into your chapter. So there's lots of different ways to organize. And I really recommend not doing that until you have cleared your mind of all the crazy that goes into all of us, right?
Yeah, that's really great advice, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that. I guess you've gone through all the steps that we should be, aiming towards to get our book to the published stage. But once we've written our book, how then do we present it to a publisher?
Yeah, so in my company, I can say we work with people all steps of the way. They come with me saying, I have an idea, help me get this into a book so that I can use it to help promote my business. It's just an idea. Or I have a course, help me turn it into a book. We have other people that come to us with a completely edited manuscript and want publishing. So there's all the steps in between: editing, beta readers, reviews, book cover, everything that goes in between. And so I recommend, number one, you've got to choose a publisher that you resonate with. Number one, they should publish kind of your genre of book. So we don't publish horror books. We just don't. And so, if you have a horror book, don't come to us. We tend to publish inspirational nonfiction, things that help humanity in some way in the nonfiction realm. And so you've got to research some publishers a little bit, find 2 or 3 that resonate with you, and then come to a live webinar, a free class, listen to a podcast, see who you resonate with, ask questions, find out what's included and what the different price points are. If you come to me with a completely edited manuscript ready to go, that's a totally different price than I have an idea in my head. Help me write that and get that out, right? And so you're really looking for someone that you feel a connection with more than anything, because you're going to be working with these people, you know, maybe an editor, cover designer, marketing, whatever's included, you know, pretty intimately, and this is your baby. And so you want to find someone that you feel like you can talk to and pick up the phone, and they're not, you know, you and I are halfway across the world, but you know, we can connect. Sometimes you get people halfway across the world that don't speak English or don't speak your same language, I should say, right? And it's more difficult to connect and get, you know, I don't know, a connection to your book. We should both feel a connection to your book.
Yeah, that would be really an important factor in getting you know, good rapport with your publisher, because otherwise, I guess they have to understand you and you have to understand their process that they go through.
Right. And, you know, I've had people come to me saying, my publisher published my book and I had no feedback. I wasn't allowed to give feedback on the book cover. They just said, this is it, right? Or they published my book, but I'm really not happy with it. And I'm like, well, why not? Like, did you talk it through? What's going on? Or can we republish it for you, right? And so when people come to me, I try to get underneath that, like what really happened there. But those are some of the pitfalls that I hear, like the publisher didn't really listen or didn't take into account what the author wanted.
Yeah, and it's important, you know, it is the author's book after all, and it would be really important to the author to have others, you know, that they're sharing it with, to understand the process, that, you know, their thoughts and you know, how much the book means to them to be published in their way.
Right, but the old-fashioned publishing model, the authors didn't get to do that.
Yeah, that's I think that could be you know, preventing some people from not writing a book, because they don't understand the process now of how publishers are, how publishing houses
Yeah,
operate.
I mean, it's changed. So if you're going to submit to one of the big publishing houses, you still need an agent. You still need to get pitched and presented. You may or may never talk to anybody actually at that publishing company. They present you with the book cover and the editing, right? So it's a whole different process than most of us will go through.
Yeah, I think the little boutique ones are probably the ones that I would go to if and when I publish mine.
Yeah, I hope you'll let me know.
I will do. Michelle, where can people find you if they want more information about your services or indeed want to work with you?
Yeah, so the authorpath.com is the easiest way. I've got free resources up there. I got a master class coming up. I have a checklist, and it takes you into our Facebook group about being radically authentic and doing and however you want to express yourself.
Wonderful. If you were to give some words of wisdom to anyone, whether it be business related or otherwise, what would that be?
To not be afraid of what's in your heart, not to be afraid of the little nagging feeling like, maybe I want to go speak about this, or maybe I want to share this out in the world. I think we get that nudge, but then we don't know what to do with it, or we don't know how to get started. And so we clamp it down. And I'd say just open your heart up, follow your nudges, and you never know where they will lead.
Absolutely. And the universe always provides anyway. So, you know, if you put your intentions out there, most likely you'll have that intention granted. So yeah, I'm a great believer in the universe and vibrations and all those sorts of things. So Michelle, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing with us your wisdom on publishing and getting published. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
Bye-bye for now.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the experts.